Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Camper Report. This is one that has kind of been rescheduled like a lot of times because Saturday night I ran into some things. Sunday night, franchise, or otherwise known as Big Play Slay, or otherwise his real name is Manny, also ran into. There's so many names that I could call you by. It's
Yeah.
just it's definitely
hmm
interesting. But yeah, so we both ran into some things. But we're here. It's a Monday
Yeah.
night. A lot to talk about in the NFL. A lot of free agency things. As the first off, before I get into any further things, first off, how are you doing? Franchise or Manny? What
Yeah.
do I call you? Because
You could
like
call me Manny. I
Manny.
think
Okay,
that,
okay,
yeah,
okay,
I kind of pushed away from the Slade thing, but yeah,
okay,
Manny's just good for me.
okay. Well,
Yeah, I'm
how are
doing
you
good,
doing
man.
today, Manny? And oh, by the way, his channel is in link in the description. Go follow him on Twitter. All that good stuff is all in the description. But how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Can't can't complain. Obviously the Super Bowl loss sucks, but we'll be back.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, if nobody knows, he is an Eagles fan. I guess I didn't introduce you properly, but he's an Eagles fan just like my brothers. Here to talk some Eagles football as well.
hmm
So, let's get right into it. And before we actually start real quick, guys, if you haven't heard already, I'm doing a show on Wednesday this week and Saturday this week. So it's going to be a busy week for me. The Wednesday show is going to be in the morning with Ryan G. Hensley, a 49ers content creator, and then with a Redskins creator. I believe I actually forgot his name. But anyway, so I'll be going live those 2 days as well. But let's get right into it. Um, let's get to them. So the first topic, and I wanted to kind of get to, I guess, the Super Bowl because it's really only been like a week and a half, which for me it feels like a lot longer than a week and a half, but it's only been that long. So the first topic I have for you today is what happened to that Eagles game, well, to the Eagles' game plan on offense and defense in the second half that led them to a loss. I mean,
Yeah.
they were up by 10, just like the 49ers were in the Chiefs last win. And both teams were able to fall short, both the Niners and
Mhm.
49ers against the Chiefs. So,
Yeah, I was talking about that whole week. I felt like we shouldn't, blow a 10-point lead, just like the Niners did, and not run the football in the second half. I feel like in that situation, you have to run the football, and
right.
we didn't run the football enough in the second half. We're in that game in general, and if we were running, it was what hurts. I think we should have ran the ball a little bit more, in the second half, and then our defense. I feel like we let everything underneath just wide open for the
Right.
Chiefs to just cook us. I don't know what happened. It was just hard to stop them. Um, and they capitalized on opportunity. They had everything just wide open. The Sky Moore touchdown, the Kadarius Tony touchdown. The special teams, I felt like they did really bad. Um, Sean Payton talked about that going into this week
Right.
with the Broncos head coach, that the special teams we could lose because of the special teams, and that was a big factor. But I don't know what happened. They just adjusted really well. Um, and I don't know how it's possible for Patrick Mahomes to do better with his ankle hurt. I don't know how is that, like, he did so much better when his ankle was hurt than I feel like when he was fully healthy before that ankle got rolled in the second half or
Well,
in
here, go ahead. Go ahead.
Now, I was just saying, when his ankle got like rolled up, I felt like to that point he was doing okay, but once his like ankle got like really rolled up, and then he came back with 29 minutes at halftime. Then just the second half, he started just playing lights out. I don't know what happened. He had one incompletion, I think. It was
Yeah.
bad.
I, to what you're saying about Patrick Mahomes playing better with the rolled ankle, I think it kind of forced him to be a little bit more of like a pocket quarterback and
Yeah.
just sit down and just, okay, read the defense more instead of running around. And I think that was a huge thing for them as well. And to your point about like, you guys weren't running the ball enough in the second half, I agree with that. But another thing that I kind of agree with, well, kind of tend to lean towards is I don't think the Eagles were being enough aggressive. Like you guys took a lot of deep shots downfield in the first half.
Yeah.
Second half, I mean, you were still throwing the ball, but just wasn't as aggressive. And with the Chiefs, like with most teams, if you're up by 10, you can sit down and you can run the ball and be non-aggressive. But because it's Patrick Mahomes, because it's Andy Reid, you almost can never play that style of football. And so many teams have made that mistake when playing the Chiefs. They'll say, okay, we're up by 10. We can play a non-aggressive style of football. But because Patrick Mahomes has that big play ability, you just can't do that. And so I think that's the mistake that the Eagles made once
Yeah.
again. Got up.
It made, I don't know, man. It still sucks. It took me like a little bit like of time just to go back and look at the
Yeah.
highlights because I didn't want to look at the highlights like after, like and probably like Tuesday of the this after like the Super Bowl loss and whatnot. But I don't know, man. It still sucks.
It
Like
does.
we
It took
had
me
it.
a while to get over the 49ers
Yeah, I know
loss
because
in
you
the Super
guys
Bowl.
lost too. It sucks, bro. Like it feels like the game was in your hands and it just got stolen away from you.
I projected the Chiefs to win, and I won a lot of bets after that
Mhm.
game. Finally,
Yeah.
like it's weird because every time I bet, well, like I usually bet just with my friends, and every time I bet against or like for the 49ers, I lose my bet. And then
Yeah.
every time I bet like where it's not involving the 49ers, I win my bet. So it's so weird. But
Mhm.
one question that I do have, a kind of a follow-up question. Do you believe that Jalen Hurts fumble that was a big play in the game that kind of decided the game? Do you believe it was his fault? Because I will start on this. I don't think it was. I think the Chiefs had watched your guys' film and they had said, okay, in this situation and in this situation, they like to run this certain play with Jalen Hurts. And I think the Eagles were in that type of situation and they run a lot of QB draws with Jalen Hurts. So it's something that they do all the time and is very predictable. I think that was more of a coaching error because that was so predictable. It was so, I don't know, the Chiefs knew it was coming.
Mhm. Yeah. Uh we do that a lot. I don't know why. It's probably good for like right now, but I don't think it's like sustainable for a long time. But to answer your question about Hurts and whatnot,
Yeah.
I don't think like it's like all of his fault. I feel like the blame could go to him because some of it kind of does have to do with him with rolling the ball, like or not rolling the
Mhm.
ball, but handing the ball to like his left side instead of just running or sliding or something. Um, I don't know. He could have slid there maybe,
True. Yeah.
but there is so many like blames in this game. I don't want to just blame him. You could blame the offensive coordinator for calling it in that type of situation. Maybe we should have threw like a little out route or something in that situation because that kind of worked there. Or throw it to Goddard in that situation, the tight end. There were so many things we could have done. But if we went down the field and scored in that situation, we would have went up 21-7, and that would have kind of helped us out a lot because let's say we get that, it's 21-7, go into half. Basically, the game is in our hands because if they score the next drive in the second half because they get the
Right.
ball, it's 21-14. The game is in our hands if everything goes the right way. It's so many guys you could blame in this game. I don't want to blame it all on Hurts because he definitely performed in the biggest,
He did.
like,
He did. He did. As a runner and as a thrower. I mean, there were some throws in that game. I mean, it was exciting to see. You guys definitely have your franchise
mhm,
quarterback, and I owe him an apology because
yeah.
I've been critical of him all year, and he showed up in the biggest ways. So
Mhm.
definitely have to give my credit to him.
Yeah, I drafted him one. No, not one. I drafted him in the second round of our league in fantasy. Uh,
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
hmm
Okay.
and then
Wow.
I don't
You
remember.
ended
I
up
think
winning. Yeah.
it was the second round. No, I didn't win. Who
It
won that?
was well, his name is Noah, but his
Yeah,
name is Keener or whatever.
yeah,
I
he
thought
beat
you
me.
won. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, because the week that I could have won, Jalen Hurts got hurt. That was the week that he got hurt. So
Okay.
that's why I lost.
Yeah. I had a very disappointing year in that league. I won last year, but this year wasn't great. I barely made the playoffs, and then like Lamar Jackson was really good in the year, and then he fell off, and that was basically my whole like year.
That was last year?
No, this was this last year. Yeah.
Oh, this season. Okay.
Okay, this season. Yeah, last year I won. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So, anyways, not to get too off topic, let's answer some of the questions or comments in the chat. Let's go, Manny. That's East Coast Gridiron.
That's good, yeah.
Let's see. Grandizer, regular of the show. Slay is in the hood. I have not seen that dude in a while.
That's good, Grandizer.
Yeah, I had you on like in May.
Yeah, it was. Year? It was it was like a couple months before the NFL season started, and we were talking about Trey Lance and Jalen Hurts and whatnot.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a fun show.
That was for sure. A lot of Grandizer comes in, says a lot of content creators go live today. CG Ruthless goes live at 7-2. Yeah, I mean, every day, if you're focusing on that, like there are content creators all over the United States, all over the world going live. So you just kind of have to go with it. Manual many faces. Manny. Okay. We got Man, and Ben, the young lads. Okay. Coach Dante says
he's from London, I'm guessing.
Grandizer, I think he lives in Canada.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
Coach
Dante says, "What up?"
That's one of
new
my
subscriber.
guys.
Man, keep up the work. I can't read. Work. Thank you. And then Grandizer 12. That loss stings. Why you got to bring Slay spirits down, Benny? We all feeling down now. Heck, I'm still upset that the Dolphins lost Super Bowl. Is that 42 and Super Bowl?
Yeah, that's 42. I think
19. Yeah. And then let's go, Manny. Yeah. Grandizer, you know, it does take a while to get over it. I'm over the 49ers lost. I've moved on. It just, yeah, it definitely, I think for me, it took probably all the way until maybe last year to get over it. Because the thing that sucked for the 49ers was we were bad the year after that. So like it kind of made it even sting even more. So yeah, it really did.
I think your team that season was like more of a complete team than our team this season, to be honest with you. Because I don't know. I think our defense had its moments where it's just like we played bad. Like we only play good against bad quarterbacks, but we play good like statistical quarterbacks. We suck. Like Jared Goff lit us up week 1.
Very true. I think the 49ers defense would have done good against Jalen Hurts if we would have just had an offense. I mean, that game was fixing to be such a good game if you look at those first 2 drives. Anyways, so we're getting off topic, but yeah, definitely is something to talk about later on. But let's get to the next topic. This is one that I don't know as much about. Now, I did look up a few things about what the Eagles cap space is and everything else. So I'll get to that in a little bit, but free agents that the Eagles will re-sign and what positions do you think they will draft in the first round? Any players in the draft in particular that are standing out to you that you would like them to draft?
Players that are sticking out for
I don't know if you've gotten into that yet because you're only a week removed, but from the Super Bowl. But
yeah, I love college football. Like covering a couple guys.
Yeah,
I'm still like watching film and stuff on some guys in the class, but the guys that I like so far are guys like Devin Witherspoon, a cornerback from Illinois. Osiris Torrance, the guard from Florida, and Noah Sewell from Oregon. I just want elite players on our defense. Like you guys have Fred Warner. I want a Fred Warner on my defense. I want a Nick Bosa on my defense. We don't have that. Like we have good players, but we don't have like elite players. I just want elite players on this defense.
What about free agency? Because I know you guys don't have a ton of. I think you're 18th in the league in free
Yeah,
agent order, and I'm actually pulling up right
yeah,
now.
we're
Just
negative 2 million in cap, I think, right now.
yeah. I mean, you guys. Okay, so I think like I think you guys will obviously be a interesting destination for a lot of free agents that are kind of like older, kind of looking for just a cheap contract to kind of get their career revived. I mean, guys like Levante David, Jadeveon Clowney. I think the main priority, and I think you will agree with me on this one, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson has to come back. Like, that's a
Yes.
huge one. Has to come back. I think if you look at, like, let me see, Javon Hargrave, I think you guys will let that guy go. I think he's replaceable, even though he's been over, like, he's over 10 sacks, I think, on the season, or 10 sacks, and he was $11 million. I think his contract was $11 million last year, but I think he's going to want a bigger contract. I think he's one of those guys where it's a very deep edge rusher draft. And I think he's one of those guys where you could replace him. You have already a lot of depth at that position along the defensive line. So I think that's a guy you got let go, but you have to find a way to keep Chauncey Gardner-Johnson around, even though I mean, it will probably take $19 million per year, but you have to do it. So
Yeah. I think we should let go of Fletcher Cox.
yeah, for sure. He
Gardner
might.
Johnson, yeah, there's no way we should let him leave. Like, if we let that man walk out of the Eagles building, someone needs to get fired. Like,
Yes.
1000%.
Do you think you guys will re-sign Miles Sanders?
I don't think so. I
Really?
think we could
Wow.
find a
Okay.
good running back in the draft. I think he'd be a good destination for you guys. But I know you guys have
Really?
McCaffrey.
Okay.
You have McCaffrey, but like as an RB2, I know Mitchell has like injuries or
Yeah,
whatnot.
but yeah, injury issues. I mean, there's never enough running backs on the 49ers team. So go ahead.
And he fits your system really, really well. Um, I don't want to bring him back. I think Gainwell's performance in the playoffs really showed that we can have another running back through the draft. Um, who's another guy? I think Hargrave we should keep because D tackle we have Davis who we drafted in the draft last season. And then Fletcher Cox, and then maybe a couple other guys that are depth pieces. But Hargrave is like the DT1 right now. And then Davis will be DT2 if Fletcher Cox walks, and that's what I think will happen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who else we should keep. Marcus Epps, the safety, the strong safety, we should let him walk.
Yeah. I think. What do you think about? Okay, so there's this running back from Alabama. He's number
Jameer
one.
Gibbs,
Yeah. Do you think you
yeah,
should get him in like the first to second round? Because I think you guys have like 2 first
yeah.
round picks. Is it 2 seconds or 1 second? Actually, I
I
think you
think
guys
we
have
have,
5 picks, right? So
yeah, we have like I think 2 picks in the second round. I don't know. Maybe I gotta look. I know we have 2 first round picks in this
mhm.
season. I think we have a couple thirds, but I will draft Gibbs in the second round. I think he's gonna slip to the second. This
Okay.
RB class is deep. Like it's really deep.
I want to
It's not.
see if do you have anything else? Well,
Now I was just about to say there's a lot of running backs in this class. Like we could just get.
yeah. That's true. Miles Sanders is definitely replaceable. I want to see. Do you know what your second round picks are in the second round? In the second round
I,
draft order,
I
second round
don't
draft.
right now. No, I gotta look this one up.
I'm looking up. Yeah, I'm looking it up. So you guys have the 10th pick in the second round.
Ooh, that's good.
I mean,
With that.
Bears, Texans, Cardinals, Colts, Seahawks, Lions. I mean, I could see not the Lions getting a running back, but maybe the Falcons are ahead of you. The Panthers are ahead of you. I could see
Mhm.
Panthers and Falcons maybe getting a running back, maybe that Alabama running back. But that guy is fast. He's speedy. I think he's kind of like the running back that you guys are looking for, and pair him with Gainwell. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
really good pairing. So
Yeah, I agree.
for sure. So let's get to if you have anything else to say on this. Otherwise, we'll get to a little bit more of the comments and then get to the next topic.
No, I
But
don't.
okay. Hold on. I Okay, I think I didn't cover this. That 49ers loss to the Chiefs stings even more when some Chiefs coaches or players said, some Chiefs coaches or players said we could not stop the 49ers run, and then the 49ers did stop running, so it worked in the Chiefs' favor. Yeah, that's I think something that the Eagles did too, because you guys were having a little bit of success with it early in the game. And then you kind of, I mean, you look at Miles Sanders, only 7 carries. Like
Yeah,
that's, I don't know.
man, we got it. Shane Steichen left. That kind of sucks. He's the head coach for the Colts now. I'm surprised he didn't run it as much in the second half because we like to score early and then just dominate in the second half with the run. I don't know why we didn't just replicate that in the Super Bowl. We kind of got away from that.
Yeah, it's maybe like coaches are thinking they're expecting us to do that, so we're just gonna like pull a fast one and do the opposite. But
Yeah,
I say stick to what works. Coach Dante, Zay Flowers, Jack Campbell, Gonzalez, Bijan,
Bijan, that's the running back from Texas.
Robinson, Roshan, Johnson, Charlie. Wait, is that so? Is this the draft order? Like, there's no.
Yeah, these are some of the players in the draft.
Okay.
So Zay Flowers, he's a receiver. Campbell,
Robinson. Okay.
Yeah. Bijan's the running back. Christian Gonzalez is the cornerback from Oregon. Okay. Charlie Jones is the receiver from Purdue. There's a couple of players in this draft.
Yeah. I haven't really gotten into it. I'm going to probably in a few weeks come out with like my top 15 prospects that the 49ers should draft. But I mean, we're 2 months away. The combine is what, like in like 2.5 weeks?
Yeah, it's in a couple weeks.
It's a couple weeks. So I'll probably after this week start getting into it. 49ers had the Chiefs. Oh, hold on. Yeah, 49ers had the Chiefs and they got away from what got them there. You had the Chiefs on the ropes for sure. Both teams did. Or Slay, ask Benny about his favorite offensive tackle. Joey, he's meaning Fisher from Shepherd. Hey, that guy could be a swing pick if you haven't watched my video about him. He did really good in the Senior Bowl. And it was funny because I think is it the Iron Bowl? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, the Iron Bowl. Yeah.
He did really good there, then got elevated to the Senior Bowl, did good there. So he could be an interesting 4th to 5th round pick that the 49ers could get. Again, this year, I'm not going to be interested about any of the 1st or 2nd round prospects. Like if it's 3rd or below, I'm looking at them. But 49ers don't have any 1st or 2nd round picks. So
yeah,
I think we have 3 3/3, 2 5ths, 3 6s, 3 6s, and 3 7ths. So
y'all are interesting. Y'all are an interesting team next season because it's like y'all are like the only like competition we had besides the Cowboys, I think. And I don't know. It was a lot. It was to me. I felt like there was more trash talk in the Niners Eagles game than the Chiefs Eagles game.
Yeah,
because that's the Super Bowl.
Yeah, for sure. And all the players afterwards, 49ers players were salty after that game, which I don't blame them. I mean,
it's like I can't even blame them. Like the game kind of got stolen away from them. Like Christian McCaffrey said, like you had nothing to do. Like you're down to no quarterbacks. All you have is Brock Purdy and his elbow. It's like hurt. Like
I've mentioned this so many times before. Like when Brock Purdy tried to throw the ball, it's just like it would flutter 2 yards and like it's bad. It was really, really bad. So yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's get to the next topic. We've got, let's see here. So predicting where the top free agent, this is actually the topic of the show. Predicting where the top free agent quarterbacks will go. Let's start with Lamar Jackson. I can put it on the screen. But let's start with Lamar Jackson, and then we have a few other names.
Lamar Jackson. That's an interesting name. There's a couple good spots for him. I think the Saints make a sense for him. I think that's where it'll go. I think it's between the Saints.
Really? Okay.
And the Falcons.
You don't think that the Ravens will re-sign him?
No, I think what they will do is they'll franchise tag him, and I
Okay.
think he's gonna sit down and not play if they franchise tag him.
Okay.
I think he's shown enough to prove that he's a starter long term and be the quarterback for them long term. And I don't think he's gonna, sit down and just um let them franchise tag him and just for him to have another good season and then they pay him right after. I feel like they should just do it right now, and I don't think they will. And I think he's gonna want to request a trade.
The thing that's so like, I don't agree at all with what the Ravens are doing. The thing that's so stupid about the Ravens is they didn't give him really even a fair shot to earn his extension. Like, they give him almost no weapons. They invest in defense every single year. And it's like, man, like, can you even blame the dude? Like, he's not even in the wrong here. Like, you give him, I mean, I guess his running backs are pretty good, but nothing really is that good about that offense. And I don't really like the system. I mean, I know it fits what Lamar Jackson does, but the system that they run is just, yeah, like, it's not that good. So
Yeah.
I think that system will probably, some things will change um because Greg Roman is gone. And I think if you want Lamar Jackson to stay, you're going to say, okay, we're going to spend our first round pick on a receiver or an offensive lineman, and we're going to invest. We're going to finally, like, if the Ravens want to keep him around, they have to start investing in offense. Like, I think their first few picks this year should all be offense. Like, I don't care about the defense. You have to go out and make him happy for him to stay. So,
Yeah, I
what they're
think they
doing,
try to.
it's
I
crazy.
think they're
So,
trying to copy the Niners too much. Maybe I'm the only one that's noticing that pattern. They're trying to copy the Niners a little
yeah.
too much. They want to have this like style of running the football and then good defense. And not every team is built like Kyle Shanahan, where they're just a mastermind with the offense and they can get anyone on defense to run. Like you don't have Wink Martindale no more in Baltimore. You
Right.
have the guy they got last season, McDonald from Michigan, to be their defense coordinator. I don't know. I just don't think there's a lot of goods in Baltimore right now offensively outside of Mark Andrews, Lamar, and J.K. Dobbins, and then maybe Rashad Bateman, but he's hurt.
Yeah.
He's coming off an injury. I don't know how that's gonna play out.
Well, and the thing is like, if you play that type of style of like running the football all the time, like the 49ers do, then you have to have a lot of running backs that are really good. And the Ravens don't really have that. And so the 49ers had to bulk up with 4 good running backs. And it's like, that style of football is, I don't really believe in it. Like, you have to have a quarterback that is somewhat decent. What I
Exactly.
could see the Ravens doing is like going out and getting the likes of Derek Carr, which is he's probably going to be cheaper than Lamar Jackson, because Lamar is going to get 55 million.
Mhm.
He's going to probably get like 35, 40 million. So maybe going out and getting somebody like Derek Carr to run that offense, who is slightly cheaper as well. And while I'm thinking of this, Patrick Mahomes and what the Chiefs did a few years ago to sign him to that $50 million deal, that was the greatest deal of all time, because he's, I mean, now looking down the road, I mean, he's no longer the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. And that really paid off for the Chiefs, because now you're sitting pretty with actually a pretty good contract.
Yeah.
So,
Um, the Ravens, like Dante said in the chat, D cell plays. Um, the Ravens have always been a defensive team. And I don't. That's kind of their mantra. I think they need to like get away from that.
yeah.
In some ways, because you've seen how the Super Bowl fared out. Like you need to score points in this league. Like you can't expect Lamar to win every single game throwing 120 passing yards and then just goes with one passing touchdown, one rushing touchdown. You need to do more.
Yeah, absolutely. And that might have been Greg Roman and I mean, we'll see. I think he was more of a scapegoat. I think it's more Harbaugh. Um, I think
Yeah.
if they don't work it out this year, I could see Harbaugh being gone in like a few years, or maybe 1 or 2
Mhm,
years. So that's definitely something to think about as well.
mhm.
comments, Big Fridge, Lamar Jackson is going to the Atlanta Falcons. I'm not sure if he's an Atlanta Falcons fan. That is definitely a
Yeah,
destination that he could go
Falcons
to.
fan. Yeah, he's a
But
Falcons.
I just don't know if like Lamar would want to go there. I don't
I
know.
mean,
He's signing
it
that.
kind of makes sense though, because like they kind of run like a run-centric offense. Like their
Yeah.
offense is designed to run the football. I mean, makes sense. Like, but they don't have a defense though. Like that's you want to win right now if you're Lamar.
Yeah.
But like
Well, and I
Falcons,
think the only team maybe that could get him and is kind of a contender. I mean, the Saints are gonna have to strip that team. There's really nobody that like I look and that
the
are in the market
Panthers.
for him. Panthers, yeah, they have a good defense. They do. They do. That's a good point.
Another one is the Buccaneers. They have a team in
Buccaneers.
place.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
all
Yeah,
that,
that's true.
the
But they have no
entire
cap space,
NFC.
I thought.
Do they? Really?
Yeah, I can look it up. I think they're one of the lowest teams in the league. Hold on.
I didn't even know that. Well,
Hold on.
that's gonna be hard for them. Well, I mean, they do have a couple like really good players on that team. They gotta pay a lot of guys.
Yeah. Okay, let's see here. Cap tracker. I want to see where the Buccaneers are because you brought up a good point. I think they're one of the lowest. I'm not actually really sure, but I'll keep answering questions. He's staying. D-Cell plays says I tend to agree with him.
Yeah.
Defense is what makes the Ravens work. That's what you were referring to.
Mhm.
And then you have you ever known the Ravens to not have an amazing defense in your lifetime?
You're right, Dante. You're right, but like I don't know, bro. I think they're gonna like transition from like a defensive
Yeah.
style team to an offensive style team. That's a reason why they fired Greg Roman. I don't think they want to like just keep sticking to that, like just run the football every damn time in the playoffs. Like you can't beat teams in the playoffs with doing. I mean, it depends. You have to have the right game plan, and I don't think they'll always have the right game plan.
That's true. Hopefully Greg Roman was the answer. Well, firing Greg Roman was the answer, but again, like I said, I've never really been a big fan of John Harbaugh. And
Yeah.
if you look at like what his brother Jim Harbaugh and him both run is that exact same system that the Ravens have been running for years. And I don't know. I don't think it's built for the NFL. And I don't know. John Harbaugh. Well, no, sorry. He's Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan coach is John Harbaugh. I don't think John Harbaugh, like the reason why hasn't gotten a job in the NFL yet is I think he's just nobody's really liked him so far when they've brought him into interview. That's just a thought to think about. So
I agree.
They should get Marcus Mariota they should get Marcus Mariota, the Niner owner.
Bro, that would be dumb, bro. Don't do that.
Oh, wait, the 49ers should get Marcus Mariota?
No ways. No ways. The Niners would never do that, dog. If the Niners did that, I think they would probably sell their organization. I don't know. They would never do that.
Yeah, that's an instant firing, if in my opinion. Yeah. Anyways, but next free agent, we'll move on. Daniel Jones. Where do you think this guy is going?
He's gonna stay with the Giants. Like I heard because Logan LGZ that just joined. He's a Giants fan in the chat.
Yeah.
He said he doesn't want to pay Daniel Jones $45 million. I understand what he's saying, but what other option do you have? Because you got to look at it. Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, they're gonna be gone. Hendon Hooker, he has talent, but by the time he comes back into the NFL or starts, he's gonna be 28. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not a fan of
He's really that old? What
he's 20. I think he's like 20. Hold up. I know he's like 25 right now. So by the time he starts in the NFL, he's gonna be 27 or 28. I don't know. It's gonna be tough for him.
It's where the quarterback market is going these days. And obviously, Logan could probably tell us more about like why the Giants shouldn't re-sign him, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's where the market is going, and at least he's a surefire prospect. I mean, you've got chemistry between him and Dayball, so
Mhm.
I would say he stays as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has to stay. They have no other options right now. I
Well, and
mean,
the thing is they're too
it's
low in the draft to pick a top 3-4 quarterback.
mhm.
So yeah, exactly. What other option do you have?
But I have a question though.
Mhm.
Because let's say Brock Purdy or Trey Lance, one of those two beats out each other in training camp.
Okay.
Do you think one gets traded?
Okay, I don't think Trey Lance is really worth much, but Purdy's probably worth, I don't know, a second, third, but off of his injury. I don't think
Yeah,
so. I think the 49ers, I mean, I think the 49ers, I mean, it's the same thing with what happened with Jimmy Garoppolo. The 49ers would not trade Jimmy Garoppolo if it wasn't for like a first. I think it's the same. Like, I think the 49ers are looking at it and they're like, we can really only get like a third for Brock Purdy. And it's like, or a third and a sixth or whatever. And they're like, for the value that he's at, it's not worth trading. And we might as well just keep him as like a good backup that can come in. But if they see that like in training camp, or I mean, he's set to come back like right at the end of training camp. If they see that his arm just isn't the same, because that is a major injury. If they see
mhm,
that his arm isn't the same, I think they might trade him and just keep it quiet and be like, yeah, he's throwing fine, and then get his stock built up a little bit and then trade him, because
yeah.
that's a serious injury. Do you know like only 2 quarterbacks in the history of the league have had that injury?
Was it
It
Brees that had that injury?
I think it's Nick. It was another 49ers quarterback, Nick
Oh, it
Mullins.
was another Niners quarterback. Hey, bro, I think Purdy for what he did, you got to give him another chance. Like,
Yeah.
and that's why I think having a QB competition is amazing for you guys. Because I'm a big Trey Lance fan. Like, I think he's got a lot of talent. I think he could
Yeah.
definitely be really, really good. Because the thing that's encouraging about what we did is a lot of teams are gonna kind of like I don't want to say copy what we did, but they're gonna try to like look at what we did and kind of like use that a little bit. And I think Trey Lance he can do some of the things like or same things that Jalen Hurts could do in terms of running the football, getting open space, making plays happen with his legs. He has a big arm.
Jalen Hurts, though, has more experience.
Yeah,
And the
he
Eagles
does.
definitely fell into a lucky situation because Jalen Hurts got pushed out of Alabama, had to transfer. His stock kind of went down because he went
Yeah.
to a slightly lesser school. And
Mhm.
so you guys got super lucky, I think, with him. Super
Yeah.
lucky.
And then it's like we were mad at drafting him because we had Wentz there at the time. So like
Yeah.
it sucks, bro. I mean, now that we have him here, I'm glad we have him for the long run. And I know we're gonna pay him a lot of money, but I just wanted to pick your brain on that because
Yeah.
I
You think he'll
think
be the first? Oh, go ahead.
yeah, I was just about to say I think Brock Purdy deserves a chance too, just like Lance deserves a chance.
Do you think he'll be the first $60 million quarterback in the league? Jalen Hurts? I don't think so. I think it's going to be like 55, but
I think what we're gonna do is backload his contract. So I know this might sound crazy, but I think we're gonna pay him what Mahomes got because what the Chiefs did was they backloaded the money that Mahomes got just so they could get free agents down the line, so they don't have to pay him like a lot of money. Like right now, Mahomes' contract might look like big, but and it is big, but it's not like as big as like Deshaun Watson because Watson is getting guaranteed like $230 million. Like
right.
that's a lot
Yeah.
more than what Mahomes is getting.
And he
Um,
didn't even play last year when he was here.
exactly. So yeah, it's hard, bro. I can't wait to see what he gets. He deserves the bag though. He definitely deserves it.
For sure. An underrated team definitely is the Browns, because if Deshaun Watson can ever get close to what he was before this whole thing went down, I mean, man, that team's going to be legit. So, but let's get to the next quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo. This one's not as big. I think he's going to probably be part of like the second round of free
Mhm.
agents. We'll talk about Derek Carr, I think next, but Jimmy Garoppolo, I think, is the worst out of all of the guys we'll bring up. today. So where do you think he will end up?
I don't know. Like that's hard. I think he's gonna end up as a backup because there's not like a lot of spots for him.
Yeah. And the thing is like he's also cheap, so I could see like a team like the Saints who don't have very much cap space maybe taking a shot at him, but coming off of an injury as well. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just about to say, the Panthers maybe.
Panthers.
That's the closest thing I could get because there's not a lot of spots for him.
Do you think he goes maybe to like back up the Steelers? Mitch, what's his name? Kenny Pickett?
Maybe I think that could make sense. I mean, the Steelers, they had I don't want to say winning season, but they weren't bad. They had a okay season, I guess. But I don't know. I think a team like the Panthers or Saints, like you said, makes sense. Or I heard the Bucks maybe, but they got because you said it was like a cheap deal. I think they could squeeze them in there. If their roster is like in like dead cap, like negative dead cap, then they'd get a cheap to kind of like get this spot.
Let me look up the Buccaneers cap right now. Let's see here. The Buccaneers are a team that have like a lot of they're an older team. I could see them getting him, but also like I'm trying to think. The Ravens could be I think the Jets, like there were a lot of rumors about the Jets getting him. I don't think that's because I think the Jets are kind of actually trying, like they know what Jimmy Garoppolo is. The Jets are trying to get a really good quarterback. Like they're going to be trying to like pitch to every good quarterback in the market because they're like, we're not going to get caught with this situation of either injuries or just bad quarterback play again. And whatever you say about Jimmy Garoppolo, he's not going to deliver you a Super Bowl, especially on that Jets team. Just not going to happen. So, Let's see. I'm looking up the cap space. Okay, I've got it here. So we've got Tampa Bay as the last team, like the last team in cap space. So they're kind of tight, and that's actually probably the best destination because Jimmy's only going for like 10 million per year. That's probably the best destination.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Because the Commanders, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they got with Howell, Wentz. They gotta draft someone. I mean, I think they could give Howell a chance. I know they got Bieniemy now.
And you know what the Commanders could do? They could wait next year to get the guy from USC. Caleb Williams is his name.
Yeah, Williams.
That quarterback is good. And he's had good development behind a good coach in Lincoln Riley. I think that could be a team that is like, we could wait another year and get a really good quarterback in the draft next year. So that's another team.
I agree.
But yeah, let's get to some of the comments here. We've got quite a few of them. So big BLSG comes in and says, "What's good, everyone?"
What up, BLSG?
Shout out to the 6 up in here. Yeah, this show got rescheduled so many times that I just don't know if like very many of my people actually know when it actually like that. I don't know if they actually knew when this thing was going to start.
Yeah.
So that's my bad on
me. That's on me.
Well, it's also on me because I rescheduled on Saturday as well.
You good, bro. You good,
man. Manny 2 times.
What's good, Logan?
Got a show I am moderating right now. However, have your show on also so that you get the watch hours. Just FYI, if a question goes up and I don't answer. Okay. Sounds good. Is there only 49ers free agents that would be a good fit for the Giants and vice versa? I assume the Giants will move players around to get some cap relief. Yeah, they're also a team that's low in cap as well. Actually, no, they're one of the highest teams. Hold on. They're 4th highest team in the NFL in cap.
Wow. I did not know that.
So if you're looking at like, okay, this isn't in our topics real quick, but what do you think about them getting Jalen Ramsey? That's a huge hole for them. You're kind of like, if Jalen Ramsey wants to go to a contender that has money that can pay him the money he wants, this is just a thought, but like that could very well be the place that he goes if he gets cut, which he probably will.
Ooh, who you said?
Jalen Ramsey to the Giants.
The Giants.
They need him. They're kind of like a somewhat contender. They are a contender that has the most cap space. Yeah. Jalen Ramsey has never been about like, I think he wants his money more than to contend, but he's like, that's kind of both. Like you have a decently good like contender in the Giants and a team with a lot of cap that can pay him his money. So
yeah, that would be a good landing spot. But I heard the Lions, that they were a spot. Because I heard Amon-Ra St. Brown like on Twitter, he was talking about he was trying to recruit him and stuff. Yeah, I think that's another good spot. There's a couple really, really good spots for him to go to.
Okay.
But I think the Giants could make sense. So, like you said, they got a lot of cap. That would be good for them.
Yeah, for sure. He can end up in Las Vegas. Aaron Rodgers doesn't go there, but it depends on where Derek Carr goes to. I think he's talking about Aaron Jones. I mean, sorry, Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I think that would be a good spot for him to go to. And Rodgers, he might go to the Raiders too, because I know Devontae Adams is trying to heavily recruit him down there.
Absolutely. Friendly reminder to all the wonderful viewers, please hit the like and subscribe button. Helps the algorithm for the Camper Report. Much appreciated. Yeah, thank you. I should be a lot more active this week, so look for me Wednesday and Saturday as well. In case I miss when you go and your show, hope you both have a great week at school sports, school clubs, and life. Peace. Thank you. School clubs. We're not in college, man. We don't have like a, what is it called? A frat party. Yep.
Frat party.
Anyways, next topic. Next person we can go by a little bit faster because I know you have some stuff to do, as do I. So let's get to the next one though. Geno Smith. Where do you think? Actually, let's get to Derek Carr first. Where do you think Derek Carr is going to go to next?
The Jets.
Jets? Okay, yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. I think that's the most likely one, I'd say.
Yeah.
For how much do you think?
I think what was his other contract? What did they pay him last time?
Derek Carr, I'm not actually sure with that one.
I'll look it up. Last contract, they paid him 3 years, $121 million. I don't know. I think he could get around there. I think a Jared Goff deal type right now would work for him because he's around. Like, I think he has a lot of gas left in the tank.
Yeah,
he's not that. Like, I think that's what people want us to think. Like, Derek Carr is not a bad quarterback. Like, he was in a bad situation with the Raiders where he had no O-line. He just had Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs. Like, what else? Come on. You can't just expect the quarterback that old. Or not that old, but he was middle pack in terms of like age for a quarterback right now. And expect him to do really, really well with the bad offensive line. It's not gonna always work out well.
I think if you're the Jets, you just need somebody who can, like, I think Derek Carr, I think Robert Saleh believes it's the same with, I think the 49ers could get Derek Carr as well because they, it's the same with really what happened to Matthew Stafford. You put him on a good team. He's kind of at the edge of his career where like he's had a lot of injuries. He's been with a shitty organization all his career, and you put him on a good team, he becomes a top 10 quarterback. I think it's the same with Derek Carr. I think Robert Saleh, coming from a branch of Kyle Shanahan, believes that he can make him a top 10 quarterback. And I mean, they have the weapons. Breece Hall coming back. They have James Robinson. They have the guy who won the Offensive Rookie of the Year. They have some budding stars on defense, and that's a team that's looking up. So, I mean, they almost made the playoffs and they didn't have a quarterback all year. Like, that's kind of crazy to think. So they were in it till like one of the last weeks. So it's crazy to think. I mean, get them Derek Carr and they're gonna shine. So
1000%, bro. You're not lying.
Okay, so let's get to the next one, which is the last person that we have on our list, Geno Smith. Where do you think he will go? Personally, I'll start with this one. I think he's going to re-sign. The Seahawks, at this point, I think they have like, I think he's going to probably get paid too much. I don't think he's worth what he's going to get paid, which is probably going to be like $35 million. But I mean, the Seahawks at this point have really no choice. They kind of have to re-sign him. So I think he's going to.
Yeah, I agree. I think they'll re-sign him too. A 2-year, 3-year deal. He deserves it though. He had a really, really good season. I don't think he deserves because I know Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts are gonna get a lot of money this year. They're gonna get a lot of money.
Yeah.
I just don't think he deserves anywhere close to that. But I don't know. Maybe a Goff deal. Like I said, like Goff is middle pack where you could win with them, but not win a Super Bowl with them. That's where Geno Smith is for me right now. So pay him around where Goff is gonna.
I tend to agree with you there. I think the other team that I don't know. I mean, where else would he go? Because I mean, maybe the Jets take a look at him. The thing with all these free agents, like, and the thing that's scary about free agency in general is like you have to almost be in a bidding war with all the other teams. But the thing that I think the Seahawks have an advantage of are, I think different teams are like looking at Geno Smith and are saying he's at the end of his career. How much really does he have left in the tank? And so I think the Seahawks are looking and are saying we could probably get him for like, not too many teams are going to be contending for Geno Smith, just because I think a lot of teams are thinking, how many years does he actually have left? So he might go for less than we expect him to. Maybe instead of 40 million, maybe 35 million, because there's just not that many teams interested in a guy who's old. So,
Yep.
Okay, well, let's get to the next topic. Do you have anything else to say on that, or?
Nah, I agree with what you said.
So next one is number 4. Actually, let's get to some of the comments. We've got a new person coming in here, Amelia Mendoza.
Good.
What's good? Hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. And then we have BLSG saying, if the Giants pay Daniel Jones $45 million, would they be able to keep both him and Saquon Barkley? That's a very good point. Would they? Because Saquon's going to go for
13. He's going to ask for McCaffrey money. I think, I don't know. I think him and McCaffrey, I think I would take McCaffrey right
He's
now.
A free agent this year, right? Saquon.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I'll take McCaffrey over Barkley right now in terms of an overall football player. I think Barkley's still good, but you could find a good running back in the draft.
I mean, Daniel Jones, $45 million.
No.
The excuse the excuse that they could make is like, you had one good year. Like, and we know you're good, but
statistically, it's still like Jared Goff did better than him statistically.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it was more a testament to Saquon Barkley and his good season. Anyways, go ahead.
Now, I was just gonna say, I think Daniel Jones, like, he's one of those quarterbacks that like you wanna like give a chance, but it's like it's hard to just keep the same thing, just the same pattern every single year. It's like you have no choice but to if you're the Giants right now. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. I always felt like you could win with Daniel Jones. You just need the right team. But right now in this situation, it's like, let's get another year. You have the 4th highest million, like you said, 4, and in terms of like cap space, put a team around him now. Like, and don't even like think about Barkley's deal. If you're gonna pay him $35, $40 million, okay, let's say you do that. you go through the draft, you get a good running back in the draft because it's a deep running back class, and then you build a team with the cap space you have. And yeah, Daniel Jones's contract is going to take a little bit away from what the other guys are going to get and whatnot, but I don't know. I think you got to build a good team around him, and then no excuses for DJ. He has to do good, like a better season than 15 touchdowns passing.
Another thing with like all of these teams, except like, I think the reason why I think both Geno Smith and Daniel Jones, like Geno Smith will definitely stay with the Seahawks. They have a lot of cap. Daniel Jones, I mean, the Giants don't have like the most cap, but they still have a little bit to spend. And there are people that are big fans of him and are saying like he really hasn't had a real coach in so long. Like this is really his first real coach that he's had in his career. So it's like, give him a few years, and he could be a superstar. So, but let's move on. Number 4. Well, basically the next topic we have, and we'll get you out of here. But the next topic we have is out of all of the new coaches hired, which one is going to be a first round out? We have Shane Steichen, which you obviously know very well. We have Jonathan Gannon. We have, I'm trying to think. I'm looking it up right here. I'm pretty sure I have it. New coaching hires. Here we go. So we have Eric B. Well, hold on. We have, I'm trying to just, well, anyways, you probably know all the new coaching hires. I'll quickly look it up. And
I think Steichen and Gannon were the only ones that got hired for head coaching jobs.
I think there was one more.
And Frank Reich.
Frank Reich. Yeah, to the Panthers.
Yeah.
I'll start with this one, though. I think it's going to be Gannon.
I agree.
Anytime you have Kyler Murray, like, I don't know. I think that organization is the most, like, the stupidest organization ever. I think Gannon, to begin with, I don't know. This is, like, a pretty popular opinion, but I just don't think he's that great overall. I think both, like the other coaches, you have Steichen, who's going to an organization who knows they have to rebuild, so they're going to give him a few years, unless they're super, super bad. And then you have Frank Reich, who, I mean, they're also kind of like rebuilding. Like, I think Gannon is the only one where like you have a quarterback in place. So there is a little bit of a pressure to win right now. And anytime you have like a coach that is fitting that was hired because Kyler, or like anytime you have a coach that was hired because they thought it was a good fit for Kyler Murray, anytime you have a quarterback in general, like anytime you're scheming around your quarterback and hiring coaches around your quarterback, that's not right. You should be hiring players around your coach. You see what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes sense.
Agree, bro. I completely agree. It's definitely going to be Gannon out of those three. I think the Super Bowl loss, it's the biggest reason to why I don't think he'll do good. Like, as a defensive coordinator, he sucks.
Okay, so you think that too? Okay.
Yeah, I think he's terrible as a defensive coordinator. I'm not a fan of his like philosophy. I think a guy like DeMeco Ryans. I almost forgot his name. DeMeco Ryans. That's a really, really good defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And he's the other guy that had got a head coaching job.
Yeah. I was like, there's 4 people, and I was like, there's Steichen, Gannon. Yeah. So
yeah, I think he's not gonna be the first one fired. I think he's gonna be like, to be honest, he'd be like the last guy fired. To be honest with you, I think he's gonna do really well as a head coach. But with Gannon, he's just not a good defensive coordinator. And then you're asking him to be the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals.
And nobody wanted to coach that team. Like, they interviewed everybody. So he was the last dude that they interviewed.
I don't know. I think they're trying to make him a puppet. Because let's be honest, bro. Kyler is a guy that if he doesn't get his way, he's gonna, just like start just attacking the coach. I'm not in like no physical way, but I'm saying like he's gonna yell at the coach and whatnot, get what he wants. And I think that's what he wants. And if he doesn't get it, then he's gonna leave. And that's kind of what got Cliff Kingsbury fired. Because once he kind of spoke up, that they're gonna choose their franchise quarterback over the head coach. And I think they're gonna try to make Gannon a puppet. But I can never say that because we had Nick Sirianni and we didn't think he'd be a good head coach, and he's one of the most, like, I guess, underrated coaches now. And no one thought he'd be good, including myself. I thought he'd be okay, but not this good. So I guess we'll have to see what happens with Arizona. But right now, you have a linebackers coach as your defensive coordinator. I don't know. It's not a lot of good things in Arizona right now.
You know what I'm super happy about? I'm happy that we got Steve Wilkes.
Yeah.
That I was stoked about that 49ers hiring. Like, that's the guy that I wanted. Like, we've been making inner hirings our whole, like, for the last, like, all of Kyle Shanahan's whole tenure, but finally we go out and get somebody. You're talking about, though, like, this is kind of quickly to go off topic, Bieniemy. Why do you think he doesn't want to take a head coaching job? Because I'm sure that the Cardinals would have probably offered the job to him if he would have wanted it.
I don't think it's him. I think he's just, I don't know. I think there's not a lot of teams that want him as a head coach. I don't know what it is. I think it's just like maybe they lean towards, because you got to remember, it's the NFL continuity. They like things. They have friendships in the NFL.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're gonna go with what their guys want. And it's not a lot of GMs that want Bieniemy to be their guy, I guess. And I don't know why that's the case. But he got a head coaching job, or not head coaching job, but the offensive coordinator job with the Commanders. And I personally expect him to be the head coach of the Commanders in a year, after Rivera gets fired in a year, because I think that's what will happen. He's had a lot of, like, losing seasons, and I think he'll get fired next season because he almost got fired this season. And if Bieniemy does good, this the first year he could do good without Mahomes, and that's gonna get him a lot of head coaching, hires and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, with the Gannon thing, to go back to the Gannon thing real quick, Kyle Shanahan's licking his chops, bro, because he has a linebackers coach as a defensive coordinator on Arizona, and the Kyle Shanahan's about to cook that defense.
Well,
bad.
DeMeco Ryans was a linebackers coach.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, but Rallis never, like, the thing with DeMeco Ryans is he actually played in the NFL. This dude, Nick Rallis, he was our linebackers coach. He's never played in the NFL. He's 29 years old. I don't know what to expect.
Yeah. So another quick question for you before we go. Do you think the Eagles and the 49ers, that game will be week 1, probably a primetime game? I
think week 1 we're going to play the Chiefs.
Chiefs? Okay.
Arrowhead.
Okay, yeah, that
we
makes
have
sense.
them on our schedule, I think, in Arrowhead. But later down the line, I think we'll get you in San Fran, because we played in Philly last time. We played in Philly the last 2 years. We're going to probably play in San Fran, but we're going to be hungry next time. I hope, because there's been a lot of trash talk.
It's going to be a bitter rivalry, and I think these two teams will be ruling the NFC for quite a few years. So it's going to be exciting for sure.
I think that's very good for the NFL, because now you have new rivalries, and I think it's good, because I also feel like what we didn't get to see was Jalen Hurts also had a shoulder injury,
right,
that he was dealing with. So I think we weren't trying to throw the ball as much. And once we knew that both your quarterbacks got hurt, why would you throw that much? Like, you're up that many points, you got to just run the football, and your quarterback has a shoulder injury. The smart thing to do is run the football and just end the game and just keep running the points up.
I think a big thing is, like, a lot of people are like, well, not a lot of people, but, like, I'm looking, you guys are losing a lot of free agents.
Yeah.
But I think as long as you have a really good quarterback, I think the Eagles will be fine and will be a contender for a long time. I think next year is going to be the biggest test for Nick Sirianni, though, because you had a really good team. You're probably going to be slightly falling off in talent this year.
Yeah.
So it's like, what can he do as far as coaching? Like, can he step up as far as coaching wise? And I had those same doubts about Kyle Shanahan, and he's answered them. I mean, there's a few questions about him too, but yeah. So that's a question that I have for Nick Sirianni that he has to
Yeah.
answer this year. So
I was just gonna say, like, I think the Niners and the Eagles match up so well, though. It's gonna
oh
be
yeah,
fun battling you guys again next season because I feel like this season people said we had a cupcake schedule. You play who's on your schedule, but next season our schedule gets so much harder. But
right.
and you are right though. This is gonna be Nick Sirianni's toughest test because you get a harder schedule, lose a little bit of talent. I mean, Howie Roseman said, our GM said that it's gonna be really, really hard to keep every player. It's impossible. So
But
we'll see what happens.
then again, with the harder schedule, like you can never really determine what happens with that because the 49ers, we thought that we were going to have a harder schedule and we ended up having one of the worst schedules in the
Yeah,
NFL because all of those teams fell off from the year
mhm,
previous. So
yeah,
that's something that kind of like you can project, but you can't really be sure of how really good your schedule is going to be until the
yeah. Because
year
teams
is
lose
going.
players and whatnot. Yeah, I get what you mean, man.
Yeah. So anyways, we will see you guys later. This has been a lot of fun. Thanks
Yeah,
for coming
man.
on, Manny. I mean, uh,
Got you, bro.
we have to do it again soon. Go get some rest. I see that you're tired there. So yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah, man. This was fun, bro. It was a good show. I like picking your brain about the Niners. I just want to see what we're dealing with next season because I know we're gonna play you guys a lot the next couple of years. And I know the NFL wants us to play in the next couple of years, trying to get a rivalry and whatnot.
Yeah. I
So I
think
can't wait to see what happens.
I think the 49ers are in a lot better shape than I think the Eagles because they have a lot of their bigger
Yeah.
players coming back for next year. So if they can just figure out their quarterback, I mean, this has been the sorry, my voice just cracked, but this has been the biggest like discussion every year for the last like 6 years with the 49ers. Who's their quarterback? Who's their quarterback? Like
Mhm.
it's bad. It's bad. So
Yeah, I
um
think I was just about to say before we wrap the show up, maybe the smarter thing to do is probably let Brock get the job if Lance or if he does better than Lance in the offseason, in terms of like the quarterback battle. That's the smarter thing to do because you're on a cheap contract. Was he getting paid like 800,000, 900,000?
yeah,
Not
very
that
cheap.
much. And you have a really, really good team. I know you're gonna lose like Jimmy Ward. That's like the only guy that you're gonna lose.
Yeah,
And
that's
I don't know
true.
what the situation is with him because
I
if
don't think
he's
we're
on the
re-signing
market,
him.
yeah, if he's on the market, the Eagles better sign him. I want
The
him on my team.
Yeah, and the thing with Jimmy Ward though is he's too old and he wants another big contract and it's just
Yeah,
not worth it. Like you probably have one more good season out of him. So yeah, but the Eagles definitely should because that's a huge need that you
yeah.
guys
'Cause
need
we
to
don't
fill.
have no strong safeties right now. We could use a guy like Jimmy Ward, but like you said, he's old. Maybe drafting a guy would make sense, but you guys have a lot of good players on that defense. Like Chufunga, I'm a big fan of him. Nick Bosa, Warner. It's gonna be fun, man. But appreciate you for having me though.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone, go check out his YouTube channel in the description. Um, as I always say with basically every show, there will be chapters in the description coming up. So I'll put those up there. And if you guys want to go to a specific part of the stream, then that will be up there right after the show. And then obviously go follow him on Twitter. That will also be in the description. We'll see you guys again soon. I'll be streaming on Wednesday and Saturday. So we will we'll see you guys again soon. Have a good rest of your night. This has been a lot of fun. And go Niners, baby.
Have